Let's break down the fight after what's going to happen. Who is going to win between Devin Haney and King Ryan Garcia at 140 pounds for the title at super lightweight? Well, it's fairly simple. Really easy to say. Devin Haney is going to whoop Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney is going to be Ryan Garcia. Why do I say that? Well, we have to backtrack a little bit. Let's go through the history of this match. Understand this. This is being billed at as Game 7 between the match between these two. Why is that significant? Because in the amateurs, both of these people faced off against each other 6 times. And they're 3-3 versus each other. Ryan Garcia got 3 wins on Devin Haney. Devin Haney got 3 wins on Ryan Garcia. Both of them know each other, are familiar with each other's games, understands what each brings to the table, and are familiar and comfortable with being in the ring with each other. There is a rivalry that has been brewing undertones for the majority of their career. Because they got history. They got real history. Legitimate history. And since that's the case, there's some real animosity here. There is a drive to win more than any other fight that these people have faced between these two. Because there is a significant personal animosity that they have versus each other. Oh, yes, they do. Call it competitive fire. Call it competitive fervor. Maybe just call it outright hate. Whatever you want to call it. There is something there on a personal level. Beyond the titles. It's real for these two. But the reason why I say that Devin Haney is going to beat him is simply because he's better. Despite all the history. Despite all the extra weight that this fight is going to bring out of these two. It's just point blank, period. Ryan Garcia, he's not good enough because he hasn't improved from Oscar Duarte. Ryan Garcia, I covered it on this show. Ryan Garcia, when he faced against Oscar Duarte, did not show any form of real improvement when it came to his technical ability. All he had was a makeshift Philly shell. That's it. Still throwing that check hook more than normal. Isn't using his jab to the best of his ability. Again, used it more. Don't get me wrong. Still hasn't mastered how to use that jab to his own benefit. Still isn't throwing enough straight punches to utilize and maximize his reach and size. Has some mobility issues in the ring. Yes, his hands are quick, but he solely relies on that so much that it can be a detriment to him. Especially against somebody that can be such a pinpoint savant and accuracy merchant in Devin Haney. This is why when Ryan Garcia faced Tank, this was supposed to be a lesson, a real lesson, like Canelo versus Mayweather. Ryan Garcia takes from that, learns from that, evolves, and we'll see a change. Again, my whole thing, I wanted him to take multiple lower opposition fights, just like with Deontay Wilder, to get comfortable and get acclimated with being able to be better in terms of his skill set. That's what should have happened. That's what needed to happen. However, it didn't happen, did it? No, it didn't. Again, Oscar Duarte's tough. A great matchup to have. But in terms of what he needed, he didn't show it. He didn't show a better arsenal of punches. He didn't show a more diverse offense as a whole. He didn't show great defense. He didn't show the ability to stay out of range. He didn't show the ability, while he was controlling the ring, don't get me wrong. He didn't show the ability to fully gain and keep control for the entirety of a fight. He was still getting popped. He was still getting hit. And I don't mean that because everybody gets hit in box. I'm talking about when he was trying to actively defend, his defense wasn't working. It broke down. It wasn't being effective. Couple that with the fact that with him being such a, again, left hook merchant and somebody who relies on such raw speed and power, which is legitimate, Ryan Garcia still, because of the lack of technical ability and the lack of not fundamental, but the lack of diverse offense and understanding what to use and when, we're seeing him get predictable. We see him get repetitive. We see him fall into traps and patterns, like against Tank Davis, even to some degree to like Oscar Duarte. This is not the Ryan Garcia that needs to fight against the best. And I've said it on this show. This Ryan Garcia is not ready to fight a Teofimo Lopez, despite what we saw in Teofimo's last fight against Ortiz. He is not a fighter ready to fight Teofimo Lopez. He's not a fighter that's ready to fight Devin Haney. That top tier Ryan Garcia isn't ready for. Devin Haney has shown that he evolved, changed, and turned into a different beast entirely, like I covered on this show. Showed more power. Showed, again, great speed, great instincts, a counterpunching. Is now even more effective because he can catch you and drop you legitimately. And he can hurt people like Prograis who don't get hurt in their careers. Couple that with the fact that his ring generalship is nigh impossible to reach at this level relative to where Ryan Garcia is and where Devin Haney is. It's literally off the screen. This is how wide the gap is. They with how much they've evolved in their time away from each other, from their amateur days in fighting, one has drastically improved and the other one has improved only to some extent. That's it. There's a reason why Devin Haney was able to become undisputed and Ryan Garcia is still seeking a championship. There is a difference in talent level outright that Ryan Garcia just is not at yet. He could beat Rolly Romero. Again, that's a fine fight if that got made. But as we know, it fell through. Ryan Garcia went back to the table with Devin Haney. Boom, fight gets made. No hassle, no problem. We love that. And we'll address that right after this. But the point is the breakdown. Him in this fight is not ready for Devin Haney. Devin Haney's got enough power to drop you like Luke Campbell dropped you. A better counterpuncher than Campbell ever was. And with how repetitive and reliant that Ryan Garcia is on his raw speed, he's going to fall into traps consistently, just like we saw Tank lull him into traps. Catch him, drop him, and end him. This is not a level that Ryan Garcia is able to reach because he's not there yet at this point in time. The improvement ain't been shown. The training hasn't been there. I believe he's still training with Derrick James, if I remember correctly. I believe he's still training with Derrick James. And yet still, maybe they just haven't had enough time together. But if this is the same Ryan Garcia with the same makeshift gameplay that we're going to see going and fighting Devin Haney, I don't know if we're going to see a victory. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. I know we're not going to see a victory with Ryan Garcia. I just know it. Because Devin Haney has improved so much and Ryan Garcia has improved so little. In fact, it's to the point that you can argue he hasn't improved at all. Because for every improvement, there was a massive drawback. For every jab that he threw, that was actually, oh, okay, wait a minute, he's learning. The defensive ability was non-existent in a Tank fight. For every time he used a straight right that actually broke through and was catching Tank, he ultimately got too aggressive for his own good. Consistently in that fight. Hence, got caught, got dropped. Over eager. Every good quality that Ryan Garcia has a drawback that he brings to the table. That balances out why you can't really call it improvement. Because it's still, as much as you're gaining in one thing, you keep missing and forgetting in another. Devin Haney doesn't have that problem. Devin Haney is polished. He is poised. He is always disciplined. The most disciplined fighter at 140. While he's the least gifted. I believe Chris Algieri said that. And it's a great statement. Absolutely true. Devin Haney is the least physically gifted champion in the division. But he is the best and most disciplined champion in the division. Teal's the most athletic rawly. Absolutely. Ryan Garcia is the quickest. And from a frame perspective, he's probably the biggest. Sabril Matias is the most powerful. And Rolly Romero is just the most explosive. But talent-wise, yeah. But the point still stands. He is the least physically gifted boxer of that 4 tandem of champions. Yet he is the most disciplined and the best. Because he's mastered the technical aspect of it. He doesn't do too much. He always is smart. He is always looking to put himself in the best position, the most optimal field of success. Never gets too eager, never got too out of his comfort zone. Even when he had Prograis hurt, he didn't just chase him down recklessly. He would still boxed. Ryan Garcia doesn't have that discipline. He hasn't shown he has that discipline. Even in the style of just coming forward. He hasn't shown he's disciplined enough to come forward smartly. He just hasn't. This is the problem when it comes to Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. They are not on equal grounds. They cannot fight each other and it be competitive, from my estimation, because while they know each other, again, from the amateurs, 3-3, this being game 7 between them, the amount of improvement is drastically different from one and the other. It's not, almost not comparable. You can't compare what Devin Haney has done to make himself better versus what we've seen Ryan Garcia improve to. Ryan Garcia is, in fact, this is the best way you can describe it. Ryan Garcia improved all of his physical attributes. Got bigger, got stronger, got taller, got faster. Devin Haney improved all of his technical attributes. Became a better counterpuncher, mastered his jab, mastered ring generalship, and being able to be elusive and defensively sound. And also improved physically by gaining weight and power. One maxed out all their physicals. The other one maxed out all their skill sets and then also added some physical upgrades as well. And now you're just relying on, okay, I'm fast and I'm strong. Let me use that to beat this guy who, skill-wise, has leveled up to kingdom come. Become one of the best pure boxers in the entire sport. Now added power. The only thing that Ryan Garcia added was more speed. And maybe more power because he's, again, more weight. But he hasn't developed in any other facet. If anything, he's regressed. This isn't a fight that at this stage in Ryan Garcia's career, he can win. Because he's not ready. I've been said that he's not ready. I know he's not ready. You know that he's not ready. He's not ready and he won't be able to beat. He won't be able to beat him. He won't be able to beat him. He won't. Ryan Garcia will not be able to beat Devin Haney. Because he didn't learn anything. Nor improve from the tank fight, which should have been the makings of the evolution of the best Ryan Garcia that we can possibly see. But yet we're not on that road. We're on the road of confusion. Not because the fight doesn't make sense. Two big names, two big stars for a title. Hey, fans want to see it. I want to see it. Yes, I do. But from the actual fight perspective, it's horrible for Ryan Garcia because he's not ready at all. Nowhere close to being ready for Devin Haney. Not one metric about him. Outside of his physical gifts, him being taller, I believe longer reach, and faster, and most likely stronger. Outside of the physical capabilities that he brings to the table, skill set wise, he's nowhere close. And Devin Haney, again, might be shorter, but it ain't by much. His reach is shorter, but it ain't by much. And the weight, we know what the weight's done for Devin Haney. Made him better and better and better. Unlocked a whole vast array of skills and avenues to operate on the offensive end. A more dangerous counterpuncher that can damage you, not just score and win fights on points, can damage you and beat you with more than just technical skill. This is what Devin Haney brings to the table. Ryan Garcia hasn't improved technically. He's going to get circles boxed around. If he catches Devin Haney, hey, great. We can see if he can take it. We saw he could take a clean punch from Rougarou, from Regis Prograis. If he can take a clean punch from Ryan Garcia, great. If he can't take it, okay. Hey, it is what it is. I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm saying what can happen. I'm saying while we know what the potential is, the problem is it's not going to be enough. If we're looking at this fight as a fight for the prediction, Devin Haney's probably going to beat him on points outright, just like he did Regis Prograis, or dare I say, he knocks him out in 10 rounds. Not because Ryan Garcia isn't tough, but because the accumulation of damage, coupled with the counterpunching ability, the consistency at which he was able just to touch Ryan Garcia all night long, and with the added power now making more damage and significant impact on every shot that he lands now. Yeah, it could get stopped. Or dare I say he catches Ryan Garcia outright and then boom, beginning of the end. Just like with Tank Davis. This is what Ryan Garcia is in for. Another boxing lesson, and potentially a worse beatdown. Because since Devin Haney doesn't have as much power, you may be able to take more punches, but you're going to get hit a whole lot more. Countered a whole lot more. This could spell a very dangerous night for Ryan Garcia.